Welcome back. This is Louie Diaz, and now I'm being joined live here with Council Member Bill Miranda. Bill, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Louie. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I was just telling Lorraine that I'm enjoying this cooler weather, and I'm a little sad that it's not here to stay.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not here to stay. It's not going to go back to 110 and 112 like it was last time.
That's true.
And that's
That's true.
anything under 100 is a blessing here in Santa Clarita this time of year.
Well, I'm greedy. I say anything under 90, so. Well, all right, Bill, let's jump in. You've been on the city council here for quite a while, and
Almost 6 years.
almost 6 years, and you're running for re-election. Tell me, why are you running for city council again?
Well, let me tell you, Santa Clarita is a special place. It's an oasis in the middle of a lot of cities that are the opposite of oasis, if I can use that term. We have a great city. We're a special city, and I'm running to help keep it that way. I helped to make it that way. In my little short 6 years on the council, I voted for some really good things, which I hope we'll get into as we move on in the program. But the short answer, why am I running? We got a great city, and I think we're better together. And if we work together, we can have a better Santa Clarita.
Nice. And I know there might be a few different answers to this, but what do you believe that the top three most pressing concerns of the community are right now, and why do you think that may be?
Well, number one, and the mayor touched on this, number one is public safety. That's our number one responsibility. You see crime all over the place. You see, you know, all kinds of robberies. You see people get arrested, come out of jail, arrested, come out of jail. And there was one perpetrator that was arrested 35 times.
Wow.
35 times. How do you figure that? Well, that's LA County. Okay, and that's a district attorney who doesn't want to prosecute people.
Right.
Well, and when you don't want to prosecute people, they come back out and commit crimes. So, but here's the good news on public safety. In spite of all that, Santa Clarita is one of the safest cities in the whole country. Not just LA, not just California, the whole country, one of the safest cities. Now, is that good enough? It's not good enough until we have 100%, but we're at the top end of performance, police departments and public safety. So I'm very proud of that. I voted funds for our sheriff's department, and I voted for the new sheriff's station. And because of that, I feel very happy and satisfied and proud that we're doing our very best for public safety. Another issue, and not too many people are talking about this, but I know that you talked about it a little bit with the mayor, and that's overdevelopment. Look, we on the council don't view overdevelopment as necessarily a major problem, but I'll tell you something, Louis. The population here in Santa Clarita views it as a major problem. So therefore, guess what? I view it as a major problem because I represent them.
Right.
So overdevelopment could be a major problem, is a major problem because they tell us it's a major problem. How are we going to handle that? We're going to make sure that every development that we permit comes with it an acknowledgement of all the stakeholders involved in that development. That means children, that means young adults, that means working adults, that means seniors. They all have to be considered. That means we have to have schools, we have to have parks, we have to have paseos, we have to have open spaces, we have to have a library nearby, we have to have a community center nearby. For all the development we put in, we have to have transportation and roads for those developments.
Yeah.
And if we don't do that, Louis, then we're not going to permit that development. The other thing, and let me just, stop me whenever you want. Stop me whenever you want.
No, you're good. Keep
Okay,
going.
but let me tell you something. We permit Needham Ranch. Needham Ranch is the newest industrial park in Santa Clarita. Let me tell you something. That brings in high-paying jobs to our community. Amazon has 2 locations over there. DrinkPack, one of the biggest packagers of beverages, is located there. And there are other Illumination Dynamics. There are other companies over there. That first phase is already sold out.
Wow.
So we're bringing high-paying jobs to the city. One more thing, and I know I talk too much, but go with me on this. One more thing. Filming is a major part of our economic vitality here in Santa Clarita. It creates about $43 million in economic vitality for our city.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. We have a little over 50 sound stages here in Santa Clarita. Over the next 5 years, there's a likelihood that we're going to go to 80 and possibly as many as 100 new sound stages. What does that mean? That means high paying jobs. That means union jobs. That means people who are going to be working in our community, living in our community, spending money in our community. And the economic vitality, that $43 million, that's a big number. That number is going to more than double in the next 5 years.
Yeah, we see it all the time, especially here on Main Street. We're constantly having the battle of finding a place to park and not getting in the studio's way. And you see it around town. We constantly see it a lot on Facebook. Hey, why SWAT in Santa Clarita? Like, it's not the police department, it's the show. So it's very obvious that Santa Clarita has is a very high attraction for the film industry. So
let me just tell you the third thing.
Okay.
Okay, because I gave you two.
Yeah.
All right, I gave you
true.
public safety and I gave you overdevelopment. But the citizens are also very concerned about homelessness. So we want to make sure that we give a hand up to the homeless. Okay, now remember, a hand up, Louie, not a hand out. We don't want the homeless to be forever homeless. We're trying to transition the homeless from homeless to having a home. And so we do that by giving them a hand up. We do that by helping them. Well, there are three kinds of homeless, and I'm going to put them in three categories. They're the addicted, the mentally challenged, and those who are just out of luck at the moment. That last group, those who are out of luck, we can help them right away. We can help them get job skills. We can help them get a place to stay. We can help them get clothes and for interviewing. We can help them in many, many ways. The two that we can't help, not as a city, we're very limited because we're not experts in mental or addiction issues. We're not experts at that. So we have to turn that back to the county and in some cases to the state, in some cases to the federal government for help. So ideally, if we see a homeless and we bring them in, we then analyze, are they addicted to something, in which case we send them to addiction centers. Are they mentally challenged in any way, in which case we send them to the county and mental facilities for treatment. Or are they just out of luck? And if they're just out of luck, we help them right away.
Right. Yeah, and so like if you, as you just been saying, you've been here for 6 years and you've done a lot to help bring these different things to the city to help keep us safe and working to keep us safer. What specific skills and experiences would you and do you have that you bring to the table for contributing to the successes of our city that you would continue to bring if reelected?
Okay, so first of all, I've been on the council almost 6 years, but I've been working with the community for 30 plus years. I've worked with Family Promise. I've been on the board of Family Promise. I've been on the board of Single Women's Outreach. I work with the Boys and Girls Club, of course, and Bridge to Home, and many organizations throughout the city. So I've been a community activist for many, many years. I was also the founder of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. So what I bring to the office is experience and leadership. I was in the military. I learned a lot of leadership in the military. I was a corporate executive. You have to be a leader to reach the level that I reached. And I ran my own businesses. I had two multi-million-dollar businesses. You got to be a leader to run those kinds of businesses. They were high-tech businesses. And having been on the council for 6 years, I have experience. I know what it takes. I know that one person cannot make a difference all by him or herself. It takes 3 votes on the council to get anything done. And because we have such a good council that works well together, almost every vote we end up taking is unanimous.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah. But it takes a team. It takes a team, and it takes the ability to work together. And you got to put your ego, leave your ego at the door.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, well, since LA County Health has created a one size fits all on passing out emergency health mandates, what are your thoughts on the city trying to create its own health administration? Do you think that can help cater to the health care of our Santa Cruz Valley residents?
Well, Councilman Smythe, a couple of years ago, uh, proposed to the council and to the city staff that we at least look into the possibility of having our own health department. So we hired a consultant who's an expert in those kinds of things. The consultant came back to us after a thorough study and said there is no real benefit to having our own health department. No real benefit to having our own health department. And the cost of doing so would be millions of dollars every single year.
Yeah. And so, does the city take the same approach as I guess you would say a person with a diagnosis would take? Do you get multiple opinions on that, or do you just take one person at their word on that?
Oh, no, 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 no. The consultant went and checked with many different stakeholders. It was very thorough. It was actually a $75,000 consulting
Oh wow.
contract. So it was very thorough. And it wasn't just one opinion or a handful of opinions. It was a thorough study, and it came back basically saying, hey, you'll still be under the county, you'll still be under the state, and there's only so much you can do.
Right. So here's a topic that's been kind of hitting everywhere, not just Santa Clarita, but mainly in LA County right now. What we've been hearing is that Santa Clarita is the number one area for fentanyl overdoses. Recently, KHTS held a press conference with Action Drug Rehab, and officials with the sheriff's department made that announcement, which was pretty sad. What do you think the city is doing to help with addressing that problem, and what do you think we could be doing better?
So, Louis, I was at that conference, and what I took away from that conference, from Carrie and from some of the others who are working diligently over there at Action Rehab, what I took away from them was we need to get the information out to the students, and we need to get the information out to the parents of those students, and we need to ask the parents to hold their kids accountable for their behavior, because as the mayor said in the previous segment, one little mistake, and you don't even have to know you're making a mistake. One little pill that you take that's been laced with fentanyl, and you're gone.
Yep.
And you're gone. That's incredible. So we need to get information out. Now, Action has, they have two videos that I'm aware of that are excellent videos to show for students to see and for parents to see. And they should be shown everywhere, at every school, at every parent-teacher conference. Those videos should be shown because they're ways to inform the public, inform the kids, in particular the kids, inform them of ways to avoid fentanyl. It's deadly. As they said at Action at that news conference, that press conference, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to address it, we need to change the game on our side too. And we change the game by informing people, getting the word out, and telling parents to hold their kids accountable.
Yeah, it was just in the news that there was another 15-year-old who died on a school campus in Hollywood, and when they were talking about it, the way they put it is it's playing Russian roulette with a bullet in the chamber almost.
Right.
So it's very, very sad. On the topic of and keeping people safe when it comes to drug and crime, I know we talked. You brought up public safety a little bit already, but how do you feel the city is doing when it comes with public safety? And are we doing enough? And if not, what could we be doing to even be making our public safety even better here in the city?
Well, number one, you can never do enough, right? Until you have eliminated crime altogether, which probably will never happen, you can never do enough. So, but what I can say, which I touched on before, we're by every single measurement that's out there, by every poll that's out there, we, Santa Clarita, are one of the safest cities in America. If we're one of the safest cities in America, we must be doing something right. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So our deputies live in our community. 90% of the deputies that we have almost 200 deputies that work here in Santa Clarita, and 90% of them live here in Santa Clarita. 90% of them are raising their families here in Santa Clarita. So they're not just being good deputies, but they're being good citizens that want to take care of our city and want to take care of their families who live and are growing up here in Santa Clarita. So we're in a very good position public safety wise. Could it be better? Of course it could be better. But right now, I'm very proud of the work we've done. And I touched on the new sheriff station. It's not just that it's a new sheriff station. The old sheriff station was built in 1969. It was built to technology that existed then at that time. It was built for a valley, an entire San Fernando Valley that was 80,000 in population. Well,
Yeah.
we've grown, the valley's grown to 300,000 in population, and technology has leapfrogged 2 or 3 or 10 times more than it was in 1969.
Yeah.
So the importance of the new sheriff station is not just that it's new and bigger, but that it's high tech and that it makes every deputy more effective and more efficient in doing the work. So right now, every deputy is basically doing the work of 2 or 3 deputies of 1969 because of the technology and the ability to use that technology in our new sheriff station.
Yeah, and so just to summarize, we're gonna wrap this all up here. But just to summarize here, Bill, um, tell me why the Santa Clarita residents should vote for you, opposed to some of your competitors or other people running for your seat.
Okay, like Lorene West, Mayor Lorene West, and like Council Member Marcia McLean, I've been working in Santa Clarita for many, many years. We're not just on the council. We've been working with many of the nonprofit organizations within the city. And as I said at the start of the show, leadership and experience. In my time before I got to the council, I was a leader and I gained a ton of experience working within the city, learning how things work. And when I've been on the council, while I've been on the council for almost 6 years, I've learned that the only way to get anything done is to work together, is to become a team. You can't get anything done unless you have 3 votes. And because we have a good team on the council, we've gotten almost 5 votes every single time on most of the votes that I've been on the council. Now, having said all of that, I'm an independent person. When the cube or the ice skating rink was about to close down, I stood out among all the council members and I said, we have got to save that cube. And we saved the cube, we renovated the cube, and you know what happened? 84,000 people used the cube this year.
Wow, that's a good amount of
84,000
people.
people used the cube this year, and we're only in September,
Yeah.
right? So we listen to our citizens. We listen to the voters. We listen to our citizens, and that's our job. Our job is not to come to the council and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. No, our job is to listen to the citizens and let the citizens tell us what we need to do. And if we listen to the citizens, and by the way, listening to the citizens means listening to everybody, not just the ones near you, not just the ones you want to hear, but listening to everybody, even those that might disagree with you. And then once you do that, and you reach back into your leadership and experience, you turn around and make a vote and be proud of it that you represented the majority of your community. So if you want a better Santa Clarita, if you want to keep Santa Clarita at the forefront of all cities in America, then you want to vote for Bill Miranda.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bill, for coming in and taking time to talk about what's been going on in the city and what you plan to do. And for all the latest news, stay tuned in to AM 1220 and FM 98.1. You can follow us on our social media at KHTS Radio or follow us on our website at hometownstation.com. This has been Louie Diaz.